So here I am by the Kawasaki Eliminator, which is not mine, this is Kiley's, but she doesn't want to appear right now, so I'll show it off. And as you may know, it has a low seat height, it's lightweight, and it's a great bike for short riders, or people who just don't want their cruiser to weigh like 700 pounds. But we're going to focus on something that's a little nicer for the short rider aspect here. These bar risers. So as you can see by this little crescent-shaped cut here, that's where the handlebars originally sat. So, I mean, you've put two and two together, bar risers rise the bars. But these also have 1-inch back sweep. That's why the angle looks this way, because this is 1.5 inches up and 1 inch back right here. And what that ends up doing is making the riding triangle here more relaxed. So with you not having to hunch as far forward to grab the handlebars, your back's going to be a little straighter, or maybe even, depending on your height, leaned back. So this was one of the things we did for Kiley because she is short and was kind of hunched forward just to reach them at the stock position. Additionally, though, because of the bend in the handlebars, they can be rotated to a certain extent to sweep them down further or have them a little bit more vertical, a little more dirt bikey feel to it. But if you have an Eliminator and you feel like your positioning with your arms and your lean in your back is just not quite right, definitely bar risers or just simply turning the handlebars is something you can look into doing. It's very easy. It's super easy to do as well. Originally, the Eliminator had these bolts just over the handlebar. You remove those, I believe they're 10 mil, and then off come the caps, which the stock Kawasaki caps have the arrow on them. And with those out, you put on the bar risers with the included hardware that comes with the bar risers. But in this particular case, the leftover bolts that came with the bar risers were too long, and the stock 10mm wouldn't work because the skirt is just slightly wider than the hole it had to go into. So what I had to do was go down to Tractor Supply, get some additional Allen bolts, just match them up to the correct thread using the old thing. Now they get to be black and look a little more incognito anyway, so I'm not mad I had to do it. The other thing about the Eliminator is it comes stock with a passenger seat. Well, she wanted that removed. And in its place, here's a rack that was from Amazon because it's for the Honda Rebel. And it fits. If you look real close, let me get that out of the way there. It doesn't sit totally flush because the Rebel's back fender is curved. But I put a neoprene washer under there and a fiber washer on top, and it is solid. Like, it's not tilting at all. I'm tilting the bike. So there's something to know. Honda Rebel cargo rack fits on the Eliminator. This distance between bolt and bolt is the same. And then this is just a helmet net with some simple hooks. Goes under this big chonky fender. This part of the big chonky fender gives you a lot of utility that way. Okay, on the Eliminator, now that it has the bars pulled back as I've shown you, I mean, you can kind of tell my arms are flat. You know, there's a bend in my elbow, and I'm not the intended rider for this situation, but Kiley being like 5'0" was, what's up, buddy? Was hunched forward, and it was kind of killing her ability to get confidence on this bike when she first got it, because if you're always hunched over in aggressive riding mode, you don't have the aggressive riding mode to get into, you know what I mean? I don't know if that was phrased eloquently, but like, when you're doing your sharper turns, when you're doing your things you might want to tuck in for, there isn't a tuck in to do beyond what you're already doing. That, and she couldn't really push the bars around when they're, you know, kind of nearing the end of her arm span as it is. So this helped her. I mean, it doesn't sound like it would be a ton to raise something up 1.5 inches and bring it back 1 inch, but I mean, bar risers work wonders in that regard, because this feels to me cruisier, whichever the word is. Just the relaxed riding position that I get. Kawasaki already kind of advertised that it was relaxed, but you know, for shorter riders it could definitely get more so with the addition of the bar risers. It just makes you in such a casual riding position, and you can still, you know, lean. Why not? You're just not forced to. And honestly, the Ergo Fit system or whatever that they have on the Eliminator so far only comes with seats, as far as I know. Somebody's gonna prove me wrong. But to my understanding, the way that it was described to me at the local dealership, the Ergo Fit for the Eliminator is just other seat options, whereas the Vulcan had different handlebar and foot peg options. And I think, personally, that Kawasaki should, you know, offer reduced reach bars if they don't, because that can bring so many new, shorter riders in on a bike they can actually get comfortable with that isn't some little, like, 250cc powerless thing. Oh, please turn green. This intersection stinks. That was a nice pop. Did you hear that? It didn't sound like that at all. More about the Eliminator here. If you look at how my legs are, so I'm 5'8". Wow, that was a bump. Something dank around here. Oh god. Bucking Bronco. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna shut up on this area of the street because it is fourth world country, whatever the hell that means. Now, the other thing I've said about the Eliminator before in my comparison video is it's the right bike on which to stand on the pegs. But now, for me personally, that the handlebars are even higher, my arms don't have to be draped down so low while I stand on the pegs. So I can just do it. Like, this feels... You know what it almost feels like? It almost feels like when you're standing on like a RISER scooter and your hands are just kind of like down, like when you're a kid. Your hands are just kind of down on the handlebars. Almost feels like that, except way more fun because 450 cc's instead of just kicking it with your little foot, your little 10-year-old foot or whatever. Oh, I got prime parking if I want it. Do I want it? Yes. They tore down the Boston Market? Oh, come on. I've seen like 2 people eating there. They probably really enjoyed it. It will be missed. Home-style meals made elsewhere. A lot of reviews about it say that the mirrors aren't really substantial. And I agree, they could be raised up a little higher. They'd look a little goofy though, because then you'd have some big old all-day suckers, baby, just hanging off your handlebar. But they are just a bit too low. Like, my right is fine the way it's at. I haven't adjusted her mirrors. That's asshole behavior. Don't adjust them. You can adjust your face and see. But the left one I do have to do a little tuck my arm in. So I see there's some merit to that. But I can see behind me pretty adequately with them, so I'm not gonna fault it. Granted, I'm not the tallest. Another thing about the Eliminator is the gear shifting is just so effortless. Like, I don't feel like you could do these without scuffing, like, no, I'm not gonna say that, because then somebody will scuff their dress shoes and be like, meh, I scuffed my dress shoes. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, like, look at this. Effortless. Didn't even crimp my shoe. So I've asked Kiley what she wants to do next on this bike, and she's pretty content with it the way it is. which is great. You know, we did these things pretty early on, and you hear that popping? I'm jealous. My bike does not pop like that. Yeah. Never mind. Next thing we'll have to make my bike pop louder. So enough with the Eliminator. It's good. It's dialed in. It's done cooking. Well, I'm gonna cut the video right about here because it's probably gone on long enough. And you get it. I like that the handlebars are higher. But I guess the gist ultimately is if you find a bike that almost fits you, there's a good chance you can do just a little more customization to make it your own and make it fit you even better. So short people, don't get discouraged. Don't think that you'll be on a Navi and nothing else. And of course, if you watched to the end, thank you. You are a real one. I'll see you in the next video. Get away. But additionally, because of the bend, focus on what I'm looking at.